Now we're at the fun part where we're going to put everything together, all our worksheets onto a dashboard and make the finished product interactive, filterable, and visually appealing. Let's take a look at our finished dashboard to look like. So this is published on my profile. Again, a link is in the description. You have the ability to see it, download it, and play around with it with this version. What we have here is a Superstore dashboard, consistency throughout. We're talking about consistency with color. You see a theme here, grayscale. The color that's being used is purposeful. So we have categories here for furniture, office supply, and technology. We want to make sure that that color is being used in this dashboard. And when that color is not being used, everything else here is kind of that grayscale theme. Okay. Best practice also not to have more than 4 to 5 worksheets on a dashboard. So we see here we have about 5 dashboards. We have the ability here to filter. We could filter by order date. You could filter by region, by clicking. If you click on United States, it will filter. We're going to build all of this out and finish it on our dashboard. You should have saved what we have up to this point. Now, what is saved on your profile will look something like this. Whatever page you're on will show, okay? It's not going to show you all the pages when you go to your profile, under your profile name. Not to worry, when you download the workbook, you will see everything. And so how do you download it from here? You click on the download and you go to Tableau workbook, and then it will open up for you in Tableau public. Okay, so let's all go into our Tableau public version. I have 6 worksheets here. Now what I want to do is build out the dashboard. The next option after the worksheet is a new dashboard. We're going to click on the new dashboard, and it gives me a pane here with the option of all my worksheets on the left hand side. This is what I have to play with. Now, the default, you could change the sizing. You have a range, you have fixed, or you have automatic. Automatic will adjust to the screen size of your monitor. Fixed, you have the ability to select your custom sizing, or a desktop browser, full screen, whatever you wish. And so I like to have fixed, because this is published on the website, people can scroll, and when it's whatever size is being shown on your version will typically be the same on the website as well. So I'm going to do a size of a width of 1600 by 1000. Now I'm choosing this because this is the size that I feel like will accommodate the number of worksheets I have in the style that I have. Okay, there's no standard on what your size should be. It really depends on what you want it to look like, and you can adjust accordingly. So our next step is to bring in our worksheet. So I'm going to bring in my first sales and profit worksheet. You just drag it in here onto the pane. Okay, it brings in the worksheet and the legend. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, and you see it takes up the entire view, and that's okay. Once we start dragging in the other worksheets, they will adjust. So we're going to bring in the profit by category to the right. So half of it is sales and profit, the other half is profit by category. Now I want to bring the quantity by country at the bottom, so you can just play around and kind of adjust it accordingly. What you could also do is you could use what we call containers. Okay, you have a horizontal and vertical container. So if you bring in a container, within the container, you can then drag and drop your visuals. Okay, so you drag in the map, sales trend, and we could drag and adjust accordingly here. And the profit by contribution, and play around with the sizing here. Okay, so I'm going to keep it like this. I am going to remove all of these legends for now. We don't need these legends. We do need the category, but I am going to remove it for now. I just want to play around with the sizing of what I have available here. So now I have the worksheets with the exception of the last one, sales and profit. Okay, we're going to hold off on that one for now. Let's just work with what we have here. What we placed here are fixed sizings, okay? Fixed worksheets. They are fixed according to the placement and the size and containers that you have available. I want to add a title to this dashboard. I'm going to rename this dashboard and I'll call this Superstore Dashboard. At the top, I highlight dashboard and I say show title and it will appear at the top. Okay. I want to customize the formatting of my dashboard, so I can right click and format my title. And I want to change the shading to be gray. I want the font of my text, so I can double click to bring in the font, the sheet name, and I'll make it white in bold. Because my background is gray, I want to make it white. I want to give more space in the title, so I could drag it to make it a little bit bigger. I'm doing this because I'm going to fit some filters here at the top and my legend, so I need some space at the top. Now, what you'll notice is within each one of these worksheets, there's a drop-down. The drop-down allows you to fit the entire view, fit the standard, width, or height. What I want to do is each one of these dashboards, I want to click and make sure it fits the entire view. So I'm going to go into each one. The map that won't have the fitting, but this sales trend does need the fitting because you see that it's scrolling to the right, left and right, and up and down. So we want to make this fit because you don't see all the months and all the days. So when we click on here and fit the entire view, now it fits and adjusts accordingly. And then the profit contribution is already set to the entire view. Okay, so we have everything here and sizing adjusted accordingly. I do want to adjust the profit by category months. I want to shorten it, so I'm going to go to it. So from the dashboard, you can click on this option to go to sheet. I'm going to change the formatting of my dates. So I want to make it the first letter. Okay, so this fits a little bit better. Go back to my dashboard. All right, so we have everything on here. We don't have the sales and profit. Okay, so our sales and profit. If you remember here, I'm going to change the order of this. I'm going to make it profit first and then sales. So I want to bring this in. From the left-hand side, I'm going to drag it here. I'm just going to place it any random place, okay? I want to make this floating. So when you click on this option, by default, it is fixed. But you have an option here to make it floating. And what floating does is it allows you to place it anywhere on the dashboard. All right, so I'm going to readjust the size of this. I don't want to show this title, so I'm going to deselect the title. And now I'm going to make it fit the entire view of this floating dashboard, okay? So that I can place it in the appropriate spot here at the top. So now I have all my worksheets, one floating, the rest are fixed. The whole power of the dashboard is the ability to filter. So let's add some filters to this dashboard. I'm going to go to my sales and profit, and I am going to add a couple of filters. The first filter I want is a date filter. So I'm going to bring my order date to the filters shelf. When I do that, you have different filter options. You have relative date ranges, you have dates, right? Years, quarters, months, so on and so forth. Or you could filter based on count or minimum or maximum or certain attributes. When you select the year, next it's going to show you all the years available. I'm going to select all, and you'll see it here on the filter shelf. I can click on it and show filter, and it'll show it to me on the right. You have options now to click and select either. So right now the default is multi-value list. If I do a single value list, this will only give me the ability to select a year at a time. I could do single drop down, same thing, but with a drop down option. I can select all as well. I like to do is select multi-value drop down. Okay, so I can choose as many dates as I want. As you'll notice, anytime you deselect it, adjust. I want it to only select after I hit apply. So there is a apply button here. You go to customize, show apply button. When I deselect the first 3 years, it'll only work once I hit apply. I think it's the best practice to do that. It makes the dashboard work a little bit better and prevents it from any type of performance issues as well, especially if we're working with a large database or a large data set. That's my first filter. The second one that I want to add is region. I'm going to go to my region and drag that to the filter. I'm going to select all. I have both of the filters here available in my sales and profit. If I go to my profit by category, it is not there in the filter shelf. So the other filter shelves do not have it. So how do we get this filter to work for all of the worksheets, not just this one? So let's go back to our Superstore dashboard. And we're going to stay on our sales and profit worksheet and click on the drop-down. From the filters, we're going to select our year of order date. I'm going to select also from the filters my region. So these are the two filters that I want. I'd like to place this at the top here. So I'm going to make them floating. By default, it adds it to the right. A lot of blank space here that's not being used. I like to use my space efficiently. And so I'm going to place it at the top. And so I'm going to click and actually make this first a multi drop down. Okay, and also customize and show apply button. The options that you selected on the worksheets do not apply on the dashboard, so you do have to redo them here. I'm going to do the same options here. Customize, show apply button. Now, if you don't want the all button, okay, if you don't want that as an option, in the customize, you have the ability to deselect that as well. Okay, so that's an option. There are a lot of options, which, I don't have the time to go through all of them, but there are tons of options for filters that are available that you could play around with. So now that we have my year of order date and the regions, both with the apply button, I'm going to make them floating. So click and make them floating the same way that you would make the worksheets floating. So I'm going to drag this right here, and I'm going to make the regions floating as well, and drag that here. Now, each one of these floating on the left hand side, if you go to the layout, it shows you their positioning, their X and Y axis, right? And so if I want to make sure that they're both at the same level, I'm going to make them at 20, right? My region's at 20, okay? So that the same height. And the width and height as well, you can make them the same. Now I'm going to change the font of my year of date to white so that it doesn't blend in with the background, and the same thing with my region. I could even customize my title, remove year of and just keep order date and bring it back to white. Now again, when I select these, it's only applying to this one worksheet. In order for it to apply to everything, you can click on this drop down and there's an option to say apply to worksheets. The default option is only this worksheet. Now you can say selected worksheets, and a list of all the worksheets on this dashboard will show up, and you can select them individually or select all on dashboard. Okay, that's one option. I'm going to cancel it and show you a different way. The other way is to select all using related data sources or all using this data source. What's the difference? We only have one data source, but if you have multiple data sources on the dashboard, you can select related data sources. Yes, but we're going to select all using this data source since we only have one. And we're going to do the same thing on the region. Now, when I deselect a couple of years, you'll notice that all of the worksheets are adjusted. If I want to say just 2020, hit apply, everything is adjusted, okay? And same thing for the regions. Now, another option that I want to show you is only relevant values. Okay? So what this means is it's only going to show you what's relevant based on your selections. So if in a given year, let's suppose I'm selecting 2018 to 2020. If there's certain regions that are not available in those years, then those won't show up here. But in this case, they do. But only relevant values is a great option that's available to kind of adjust your filters based on the data that's available. Now, the last thing we want to do, or one of the, actually, before I do that, I want to show you the action filters, okay? So when I click on a country here, nothing happens. But each one of these worksheets has an option here that says use as filter. When you select that and it's highlighted, it will now filter everything on the dashboard based on a selection you make on this worksheet. Okay, so it's very easy. It's just a matter of selecting it. I can do that here on my sales and profit as well. So if I want to just see November of 18, you can select on here. On the sales trend, I wanted to see, you know, what's happening on December 2nd, why are sales so high on this day? And so you can click on here and kind of see the view for that day. So not all of them need to be filterable, but you can select the ones that you want. Now, if you want to review which ones are filterable, you go here to the dashboard and action. We actually selected 3 filterable actions. You can edit them. And when you click on edit, what this is saying is when I select something on the sales trend, I want it to apply to all of these worksheets. A select action will show all value, and a clearing action will show all values. Okay, a lot of different options available. You can even create your own action item from here. You know, you have the ability not just to select by filter, you could highlight, you can go to websites, you can go to different sheets, a lot of other advanced functionalities as well. This white space on the right hand side, we used to have the filters here. We don't need this anymore, so we can X out of this. And the last thing we want is we want the legend, the color legend. We don't know what these colors mean. So I'm going to click on the profit by category, go to the drop down and go to my legends and select my color legend. Okay, so I have my color legend here. I'm going to make this floating as well. Okay, get rid of this blank space. And it doesn't quite fit here, but what I can do is expand this and go to the drop down, and I will arrange the items in a single row. Okay, so now you can select it on a row to make it fit here. And I'm going to change the format, the legend. Okay, so the font is white in both the body and the title. If I want to see what the final dashboard looks like, you have this option here to put it into presentation mode. Now we have our finished product. I wanted to see the Americas. Click and it will filter for just the Americas. I want to see why my sales are so low in February. I can highlight a day in February and kind of see what's happening there. If I want to see what happened in November, click and view the details for November. This is a great beginner dashboard and actually gives you a wide variety of different types of visuals that you can use. Great to put on your public profile and for you to play around with and expand. Again, this is just the beginning, but you have enough knowledge now to be confident enough to start building your own dashboards. What I would recommend is go out there and see other dashboards and try to replicate them. You can even go on Tableau Public. You all now have a Tableau Public profile, and try to copy other dashboards and even download them to see what they look like. The last thing you do not want to forget is to save your dashboard, right? So you're going to click on File, Save to Tableau Public As, and I'm going to override my existing dashboard. The workbook already exists, and that's okay. And now what you will see is it will show the dashboard instead of the worksheets as the final finished product. And you can share this link actually with anyone to view. There you have it. This finished dashboard saved on my profile. Congratulations, you've built your first dashboard. The barrier to entry is very easy to Tableau. That's one of the selling points of it, actually. It's very easy to get started, but there is a lot you can do and a lot of advanced functionality. So I would continue to grow, continue to learn, like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll continue to come out with some new content and podcasts to help you in your journey in continuing to learn Tableau.